Good morning. So, today, to wrap up the week, um, we've been discussing how challenges are part of the journey. And I'm going to go into a little bit of depth, kind of try and put it all together. And then at the end, I will give you a little exercise that you can do that will help you kind of discover. Um, how you get over those challenges. Okay. So, um, you know, maximum growth is always found right at the border between support and the challenge. I remember, when I was a kid, um, when I was very young, infant. Um, my parents were always out at the lake, and I fell off the dock and came up underneath the dock, and therefore, got water in my lungs, kind of thing. Sort of, if somebody hadn't discovered me, I drowned. So I had a huge fear of water. My mom, after that point, for years, even had a difficult time just washing my hair, because I didn't want water anywhere around my face, and it was, I'd be screaming and terrified. So I remember, I remember very clearly her teaching me how to swim. And it was I can't remember how old I was. Obviously, it was years later before I could get comfortable enough for her to, have me in the lake and swimming kind of thing. And, she would support me. She would hold her hands underneath my stomach and let me kind of splash around, paddle, and she would teach me how to do the dog paddle and stuff like that. And then, one day she just kind of let go. And I remember, realizing that, oh, my support is no longer there. I'm doing this on my own. And I stood up because, obviously I was in water deep enough that I could stand up, and looked at my mom with this shock on my face. And she said, you were swimming on your own, So all of our, you know, the the challenges that come up for us, they're not in our way, they're on our way. They're put there to help us learn, to help us grow, to help us become stronger. And spirit, if you let it, will support you to the point where you are ready to go on your own. And it's the faith in that support that's going to get you to that point where, okay, now it's my turn. I get to do this on my own. I get to prove to myself that I'm strong enough to overcome these circumstances, or to overcome any situation, because it's not there to defeat me. It's there to good morning, Betty. It's there to make me understand just how strong I am and what I'm capable of. So, embrace those challenges. Understand that, okay, so this is something that I don't, at this point in time where I am right now, when the challenge comes up, I don't understand how I'm going to overcome it, how I'm going to get there. But I have faith that, the universe is going to support me until I can overcome this challenge and move on to the next one. That's what growth is all about. Um, Joe Dispenza, in his Gaia presentation called Rewired, he does brain scans on people. He has groups of, hundreds of people come and learn from him, and he'll do brain scans on them before meditation and after meditation, kind of thing. And he has proven that In meditation, if you get into a state of love, that it increases not only your thinking, your ability to solve problems, because they can see the activity in the brain. It also works in the body to heal you. So, what happens to people is they, yeah, John Demartini, his book, Breakthrough Experiences, he talks about, having to get clear exactly what you would love and where you would like to go, and hold that image with the feeling of love. Um, how wonderful, and how much you're going to love it when you get into living in that dream life, being there. Joe Dispenza, talks about when we come up against challenges, or when we see something that we desire, or that we long for, or that we want, what what happens to us is we come to a feeling of discontent because we don't have it, and that takes us out of the state of love. When we're discontented with something, when we're desirous of something that we don't have, when we covet something, it takes us out of the state of love. It's only when you're in the state of love that you can allow the possibility, the current, the thinking that will allow you to overcome the circumstance. So, so as John Demartini says, get into your mind exactly what you love, and then put yourself there. Hold that as if, yes, it's happening. Feel that exuberance, feel that love, feel the gratitude for the universe having supported you to the point where you actually achieved it, where you actually got there, and now you're living that dream. Bernie Siegel studies cancer patients, and he wanted to know what the difference was between patients who were given a very critical prognosis, the ones who survived, as opposed to the ones who did not survive. And so, he studied obviously the survivors, and found the common resource that they had was that they didn't deny the prognosis, but they didn't give the prognosis the power to defeat them. They believed that they could be part of that 5 or 10 or 15% that overcame. When you think of people, you look at statistics about business, you look at statistics nowadays about marriages, you look at statistics about people who go on diets and stuff like that. It's that top 5 or 10% that actually succeed. In fact, businesses, they say now, like 5% of businesses that start up are successful. And of those, 20 years later, they've pretty much all disappeared. Anyway, the thing that makes the people who are successful get there is they don't allow their circumstances to be better than who they are. When I 4 or 5 years ago, I started getting arthritis so bad that it got to a point where I could not physically walk around the block. It would, if I walked halfway around the block, I'd be crying because my knees hurt so bad. Okay, and I just finally said, hey, this cannot continue. I need to do something about it. And here I am. I guess it's been 4 years now, and I walk every day. And you know, when I was for my 66th birthday, you know, my challenge was to walk 6.5 miles, 66.6 miles. I actually walked about 7.5. But you know, the point is that what I did was I made a decision. I'm not going to let this age-related problem get the better of me. I was going to do whatever I had to. So I started exercising. I started stretching. I started getting into, you know, okay, I can take this much pain and then just go a little bit farther. And that's how I did it. It's like get up to the edge of the pain and just go that a little bit more. Just dig down, find that a little bit more. So the exercise that I want to leave you with, find situations in your life where circumstances, the prognosis was that you would not be successful, where it looked like there was no way you're going to be able to achieve this goal, but you managed to get there. You managed to overcome those circumstances. Think of those times, write down, you know, what they were and what, you know, what helped you to overcome them. How did you manage to get through them? So that you can understand, okay, so I've had these situations in the past. I've had places where I've been challenged and it looked overwhelming and I managed to get there. I managed to overcome it. Try that out. Next week, I'll see you Monday morning at 7:15. You guys have a wonderful weekend and thanks for joining.